What's up guys, Alex Sloan from ReTek Reviews here, and today we are going to be taking a look at Mafia 3 from developer Hangar 13 and publisher 2K Games. But before we get to the game, let's take a look at the in-game options. You have your normal brightness settings, resolution and mine is set to 2560 by 1440, FPS is set to unlimited, depth of field is on, field of view is set to 65, but I think it goes all the way up to, 90 degrees. Let's check. Yep, 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and set mine back down. Gold quality preset set to custom or high. Full screen on, VSync is going to be turned off. Ambient occlusion high, motion blur off. Geometry detail high, shadow quality high, reflection quality high, volumetric effects high, anti-aliasing high, and screen borders are going to be set to the normal. Let's take a look at the audio options real quick. You have your normal master volume, music volume, dialogue volume, SFX volume, cinematics volume, and dynamic high range. Mafia 3 takes place in a new Bordeaux, which is a reincarnation of a 1969 New Orleans. You play as the main character Lincoln Clay, who returns from the Vietnam War and is greeted by racism, treachery, loss, and has a thirst for revenge. Hangar 13 did a good job of capturing the atmosphere of a 1960s New Orleans, from the design of the city all the way to the marsh areas. The many plot twists and turns take you on a roller coaster ride that creates one of the best single-player campaigns I have ever played. However, Hangar 13 spent so much time on the main missions that they somewhat neglected the side missions. The side missions and territory takeovers become somewhat repetitive after the first 3 or 4 times. Overall, the story is fantastic, but the only thing holding it back from being perfect are the average and repetitive side missions. The gameplay is typical. The Mafia 3 is at its heart and soul a typical third-person, over-the-shoulder shooter, just like GTA, Gears of War, and every other third-person shooter out there. The gameplay feels fluid and smooth, except for the few potholes in the road. Actions and melee attacks are exciting, but end up becoming repetitive. Except the curb stomp. I don't care who you are, you cannot get enough of the curb stomp. The cover system works well enough that it doesn't hinder the gameplay, and the aiming system is pretty typical of a third-person shooter. One downside to the gameplay is that I've found it fairly difficult to hit targets that were any more than 25 yards away because of the way the reticles are set up. I'm not sure if it is the way it was meant to be, but you better conserve and hoard ammo like a doomsday prepper. I also found that the cars can be a bit hard to handle.
Glorious, but hey, that's to be expected. What's more important is to keep your breath away.
All in all, the gameplay is good enough that it won't interfere with the experience enough to make you hit the power button on your rig. On to the meat and potatoes. The graphics are extremely accurate and the textures feel rich and really add to the immersion of the experience. The city and skyline are absolutely gorgeous, and when you take a stroll out to the marshes, you can definitely feel the change in scenery. That is almost a whole nother experience. The game is not quite on par with, say, Battlefield 1 or Star Wars Battlefront, but it is definitely a top-notch graphical experience. But how does it perform? Well, if you have SLI or Crossfire, you're going to be suffering from the lack of support for 2 or more graphics cards. Also, if you do not have a top-notch system, then don't plan on playing Mafia 3 at max quality either. Mafia 3 is not exactly very optimized. Let's take a look at the benchmarks. So for my benchmarks, I ran this game at 2560 by 1440 with a GTX 980, an SLI, and a single card. And I also ran it at 1920 by 1080 with a GTX 980, an SLI, and a single card. At 2560 by 1440 in SLI, I actually averaged 36 FPS, and with a single card, I actually averaged a higher 43.5 FPS. And it was completely the opposite for 1920 by 1080. In SLI, I averaged 46 FPS, and with the single card, I averaged 44. I ran these benchmarks with fraps, so it could possibly be a little altered, a little wrong, but it seems to be pretty accurate. I would like to test this game out on lesser tier graphics cards and may eventually get the chance, but for right now I cannot afford it. So let me know down in the comments what kind of performance you get from your rig. The sound design in Mafia 3 is good as well. Gunshots sound realistic enough and rounds hitting things around you is sure to make you duck underneath your desk like a wimp. People standing around on the side of the road will give you a giggle for sure, and maybe even a friendly.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Vehicles in the game could have used a little more attention to detail. Even the muscle cars in Mafia 3 sound like your grandma's Buick. However, the 1960 soundtrack will pull your ears away from the sound of the engine when you are driving, and you will find yourself singing so loud that you can't hear the car anyway. In conclusion, Mafia 3 was a wonderful experience to play through, but I cannot see myself playing it through more than twice. Would I recommend buying Mafia 3? Absolutely yes. Would I recommend buying Mafia 3 at its full $60 price tag? No. The lack of any type of multiplayer experience and the anger that the gunplay will bring at times somewhat brings down the experience. Hangar 13 did a great job of creating a living city, but there isn't as much to do as GTA or any other open world experiences out right now. The main story is top notch, but the lack of diversity in the side missions makes you wish that there was a press A to skip button for their side missions. Overall, I give Mafia 3 a 3.5 stars out of 5. Alright guys, thanks for watching my review of Mafia 3 today. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. And leave me a comment below and give me a suggestion on what I can do better, because this is my very first video. And if you want, go ahead and add me on Twitter at Sloan160 and send me a tweet. Let me know you watched the video. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.